Hello, my beautiful koala knits and knacks friends. Thank you so much for joining me in this tutorial. We are going to make this beautiful Fair Isle beanie with a 2x2 ribbed brim. It is so pretty, like you're gonna love it. And I can't wait to see the color options that you choose. I think that different colors will just give it a different flair. So please post in my Facebook group. I'll have the link to that down in the description box below if you're not a part of it already. And I'm using Bernat Premium yarn for this project, and I have designed this pattern based on a 48 needle machine. So I'm using my Centro, but I do give you instructions for the 46 needle Addi as well if you choose to do that. But be aware that the patterning won't be complete at the back of your beanie, which nobody's going to see anyway, so it's okay. It's only by 2 needles. So give it a go if you have your only have the 46 as well. All right, so as you've seen, as the videos have scrolled by, I have interchanged the pom-poms. I've got the one I made the Clover Pom Pom Maker. I also have one like this, which is a jumbo faux fur pom-pom. And you can wear this beanie without a pom-pom. Now, at the end of the video, I will show you a pom-pom holder that I have made. I do have a video for homemade pom-pom holders, but I am going to be posting another video quite soon showing you how I'm making another design of pom-pom holders. Very simple and very cost effective, so you're going to want to watch for that video as well. All right, so once you have your machine set up and your yarn, let's get started on this beautiful beanie. All right, friends, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe. Thanks for joining me, and we'll see you in the next clip. I have my Centro 48 needle machine set up, and I am going to grab my Bernat Premium yarn in white. Now, here's a little tip for you. Make sure that the inside of your beanie, which is what we're going to start with now, is a different color to the brim that you want to choose, because then when we're dropping down our rows to do our ribbing, it's easier because you stop where the color changes. You don't have to do that. You can count down every row, and it works beautifully too. But if you want to make it a little bit easier, make the inside color contrasting color to your outside brim color that you will choose. All right, so we're going to take our yarn. We're going to bring our last and our first needle in line with our yarn feeder. Now I don't go by these numbers here. I like to make the white one my first one, and I'm going to cast on going in front of the white one, behind the next, in front and behind, all the way around, just letting that yarn loosely slip through my fingers as I cast on. Do the drawstring cast on. Make sure you don't have any tightness coming out of your ball. And we're going to go all the way around, weaving in and out of our needles, just like that till you get to the last one. Now I can see the last one coming because I take a black permanent marker and I mark the divider that's between the two. All right, so it should be behind that last pink into the yarn feeder. Give it a good push because it's got to get into that little nook of the yarn feeder. And if you follow my channel, you know that I rarely use a yarn tensioner, but on my Centro, I like this bigger one. So I'm going to put the yarn into the biggest loop of that tensioner. I'm going to set my row counter to 0. This one stopped, my Centro counter stopped working almost right away when I first got my Centro. So I bought one of these, and I'll link it in the description box below. I love it. Love it. So set it to 0. Go very slowly on your first round, giving that loop a chance to get down over those pink teeth, because there's no weight of a project to help pull it down. I might even put this one in, seems a little loose. I'm going to put it in that second tensioner just to see how it feels. If it feels too tight, I'll move it. And I'm going to just find the speed that the yarn likes with the machine and find the right tension, whether it's the second or the third. I can already tell I like the middle one better. So I'm going to keep going just like this. And I'm going to knit 50 rows, 50 rows for the inside of my beanie. All right. Now, if you have a hard time clamping down your machine, here's what I've done. Have this plastic tray that these suction cups adhere to really well. And I'm going to just see if I can move my camera just a smidgen here. I don't think you can see it, but I put a coaster that I've made. It's like a granny square made out of my latte cakes. I put that between my Addi clamp and this plastic thing so I don't crack it. And I clamp down this tray. And this is suctioned onto it. And that's how I succeed in keeping my centros from moving around. And then I just can go ahead and knit. I'm going to knit 50 rows for the inside color. Inside of my beanie. Making sure that I don't tuck any stitches. I always keep my eye on these loops here, making sure they're going down over those pink teeth. If I'm knitting too fast and I notice that it's having a hard time getting down there because I'm knitting too fast, then I'll slow it down. And the center handle likes to stick a little bit, so it likes to have an even speed. You can hear it squeaking a bit. I'm gonna go for 50 rows, and I'll see you when I get there. I have completed the 50 rows of Bernat Premium in white. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to find my little scissors here. I'm going to cut that white tail, pop that in between the last and the first needle, just like that. We're going to take our second color, which for me is Bernat Premium in the color, I think it's denim. Let me just double check that. Shadow blue denim. Where did that even come from? Shadow blue. So pop shadow blue into, or whatever color you're using, into your yarn guide. And I'm going to, we're not going to do the jogless join on this one because it makes it easier to do our ribbing if we don't have this crossed over. So we're just going to have these both tails in between these two needles. And we're going to knit the first 4 or 5 needles. And then I'm going to just help that down under. I'm going to take the tail end of both ends of this new color, and I'm just going to pull them away from each other just to snug up that tension just a little bit there. Then you can take these two and you can tie them. Tie them in a firm knot, cut that off. That knot is done and you don't have to worry about a loose tail. We're going to set our counter to 0. My magnet that changes the row count is, I think, on needle 12 or 13, so I should have changed it closer here, but it's okay. I didn't let the magnet pass that yet, so now it'll pass it and count row 1. I'm on row 1. I'm gonna go slow this first one because I changed my yarn color. I want to make sure that those two play well together. There we go. And I'm going to knit 15 rows of my brim color. Now, if anybody watching this video still has questions, it always kills me when people say, is there a difference between the Sentro and the Addi? Is one better than the other? Because I think that's the funniest question, to be honest. Because if you just even look at the price, there's obviously a difference between the two. I love my Sentros, don't get me wrong. I have 3 of them, and I have the 48 needle, the 40, and the 32 needle mushroom, and they all play their purpose, and I love them all, but they are no match to an Addi. If you can afford an Addi, that is the one I would suggest you get. I mean, you can see how I struggled even with turning this handle when we were doing the cast on, and now it's like it's sticking a little bit too, and it's just not as good quality as the Addi. There is a distinct difference. But if this is what you can afford, or you like the colors or whatever, it'll do the job. And you can make whatever project that I make on my Addis, you can make on Centros. Sometimes you might just have to have a little bit more patience, but it does work. So yes, there is a difference between the Addi and the Sentro. One is much better quality, but they both will do the same thing that you need them to do. All right, so I'm almost done. This is row 13 of 15 rows. Coming up on the end of row 15, watching for that divider that I take a black currant marker and mark to be in front of my yarn feeder. There we go. We have 15 rows of our brim knit. The inside, just to recap, the inside 50 rows is the inside of our beanie. This is going to be the ribbed brim. And now I'm going to set my row counter to 0 again because I want to knit 9 rows of white again as I do my ribbing. And I'm setting my row counter to 0 now because I'm going to cut this tail, pop it into the center. I'm going to take my white. We're going to pop it into there because what we do here for our ribbing, we're going to do a 2x2 ribbing. As we go around and rib this row, it is our first of the 9 rows that we're doing. So I'm going to hold that in there. I'm going to knit the first 2, 1 and 2, just like that. Take this out. It's actually easier to do this with this out of the guide, and if you watch me, you'll see. I put that between the 2 little teeth and I wrap it around my counter just so that this loop doesn't pop off as I'm ribbing that. And we're going to take our loom pick. We're going to take this loop off. Okay, we knit these 2. We're ribbing these 2. We're going to go down. I'm going to get a little further before I tie that. We're going to go down until we get to the white. And when you get to that first white loop, you're going to take your crochet hook, and I'm using a 5.5 millimeter hook, and I'm going to take it from the top into the bottom, so it's going down. I'm going to grab that first ladder and I'm going to bring it through. I'm going to grab the next one and bring it through. It's coming through from the underneath up, and I'm purling this row. Oops, dropped that. And I'm going to, oh my goodness, it's not that hard. Hold your loop with your finger and that'll help. Bring it through, hold it with your finger, grab the next one, bring it through. And you're going to rib all the way up. Make sure on your last one, so that's my third last, second last, you want to make sure that this bar is out from underneath both of these dividers. Because if it's not, it's going to be very hard to work. Then you're going to grab it and you're going to work it. Then you're going to put both ends underneath the divider so that when you pull up on this loop and put it over your needle, it's not going to compromise the stitches on either side, okay? So now I have that one purled. I'm going to go underneath. I'm going to back this up just a little bit so that I can get underneath that needle. We're going to knit it now with the white. Then I'm going to take this yarn tail, pop it between those 2 teeth, wrap it around my tensioner so that it doesn't go anywhere. And again, this yarn tail is holding that loop down so it doesn't pop off as I'm working. This one is safe because the needle's holding it. We're going to take off this tail, or this loop, sorry. And if your color is the same, you're going to count down 15. You're going to go pick 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. And by unpicking 15, you'll get to that next loop, which for us is the first white one. You're going to take your crochet hook, pop it in just like that. And we're going to ladder up. Taking that first one, bringing it through. Next one, bringing it through. I don't usually have trouble with this slipping off. I don't know what the problem is here, but it is what it is. Let's get that out of the way. And you're going to work these up in order all the way to the top. Putting some tension. There you go. Take that out from underneath. Putting some tension here by pulling back a little bit helps too. This one's a little tight, so I'm going to pull that through. I'm going to take both of these ends and I'm going to put them underneath the dividers. Then I'm going to pull up and over those 2 teeth, over the needle and over the 2 teeth. And I'm going to loosen my white, go underneath that divider, back up just a smidgen, get underneath the nook of that needle. Then I'm going to knit it. So now we've purled these 2. I'm going to go under that divider. I'm going to just hold this in my hand. I'm going to knit that next and the next. So now I've knit the next 2, and I'm going to repeat that. Between the 2 teeth, wrap it around my tensioner. I'm going to take this off and just pull it down until I get to that white one. I don't have to count it again because I have a color change. Taking my crochet hook, I'm going to pop that into that loop, and we're going to work our stitches up. Very easy to do. I love the look of a 2x2 rib. I generally do a 1x1. This time I thought I'm going to try the 2x2 and see what I think. And I already made one of these just as I worked out the pattern. And I love it. So underneath, I love the look of the 2x2. There we go. Undo that, go under the divider. Oops, back up just a little bit. Knit that one. Wrap it around. We're going to work this next one here. All the way down. Hold your white loop with your thumb and your finger because you don't want that to work down. Get in there and work up. I'm going to do this process all the way around. So knitting 2, purling 2, knitting 2, purling 2. Now get that from underneath the divider so that I can work it, and then back under the divider. All you have to do is push this down and it'll go under the divider on both sides for the most part. Work that under that divider, back up just a little bit to get that underneath, and work the next 2. And repeat the process. All right, friends, keep going till you have knit 2, purl 2, knit 2, purl 2, knit 2, purl 2, all the way around. I'm just gonna roll that up a bit, taking this next one off and going all the way down. That's fun. And working up. You can see once you get the hang of it how fast this will go. And that last one, push down, work that, under the divider, work that one, work the next one. I'll do one more with you. Work it up. And one more. Over the top it goes. Knit that one. Knit the next one and the next one. And repeat the process. All right, friends, enjoy it, and I'll see you when you get to the end of the round. Have fun. All right, so I have 2 left, these 2, but I'm going to take these 2 yarn tails and I'm going to now tie them off from the beginning when we did our color change. And, you know, the funny thing is when I was doing my ribbing, when I got to the needle where it was close to my, where the magnet was close to this counter, when I backed it up to feed it again, it counted twice. So that's why if you have the same problem and you're looking at your counter and you're saying, why does it say 2 instead of 1? That's why, but not a worry. It's easy to fix when we're gonna do that in a bit. So I'm going to rib these last 2 all the way down, work it up, and when I have these last 2 done, I will meet you back. I just finished ribbing the last one, so I'm going to knit it. I'm going to pop that underneath that next divider and into the yarn feeder, just like that. And we need 9 rows on this section. We just did 1 of white as we run around in ribs, so I need to do 8 more. I've reset my counter. I'm going to do 8 more rows so that I have 9 in total after the ribbing, okay? This white one, again, as we went around and ribbed, counts as our first row. I'm gonna knit 8 more. Ay, 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 ay. I miss my Addi. There we go. I think it's time that I take this thing apart. I've had it for 3 years. I've never taken it apart. And my handle's starting to squeak. I think it's time to clean it. Although I don't use it very often. I mostly use my Addi. I still think maybe there's lots of good cleaning that needs to be done. And I'm going to do that one of these days. But for now, I'm going to knit 8 rows. I'll see you when I get there. I have finished my 9 rows of white. I tied off my tail, make sure that that's done. All right, and now we're going to begin our patterning. I'm going to set my row counter to 0 again, just because. I'm going to do 17 rows of patterning. So basically, we did 50 rows for our inside, and we are doing, including the brim, we're going to do another 50 rows for the outside. We did 15 rows of ribbing. We did 9 rows of solid white, and now we're going to do 17 rows of patterning. Now here's how I draw out my patterning. I'm going to show you just one row at a time because otherwise it'll get confusing. I of course don't use 46 squares. I just do enough so that I can see what the repeat pattern is. And all the squares that are shaded in for me are the ones that are my Fair Isle pattern color. So that's color B. For me, that's blue. All these ones that are not colored in are color A. So whatever your color A is, they're the ones that are not colored in. So we can see that row 1, we're going to do 1 needle of blue and 3 of white. 1 of blue and 3 of white. Now I'm using my 48 needle machine, so it's going to end on the right patterning. For your 46 needle machine, you're going to end with just 1 solid, with 1 of color A rather than 3. So the very end of the back of your beanie, the patterning is going to be off by 2 needles, but it's the back of the beanie, and I don't think anybody would ever question it or even notice it. This pattern I designed for a 48 needle, but I'm just giving you that option if you want to make it on the 46. All right, so I'm going to do 1 needle in blue, 3 in white, 1 in blue, 3 in white, all the way around. Now mark your grid paper with 17 rows like this, and row number 1 and row number 9 are going to be the same. All right, so row number 1, we're going to do 1 color of blue and 3 of white. We need to cut our white from our previous 9 rows and pop that in between the last and the first needle, because we need to have something to tie our blue off on. Technically, because we're only doing 1 of the second color, we could have carried this, but then I got nothing to tie my blue tails to, and you need to have something to tie your blue tails to. So not every row is this much work, but really it's not a lot of work. It's just some extra steps. Don't get scared off. And make sure when you're following me on this design that you don't just do a couple rows with me and then guesswork the rest thinking, oh, I got it, because I will tell you from experience on my channel that on one of my last Fair Isle projects, someone did that and it took them about 8 or 9 tries before they absolutely got it. And then they said in the end, they're so funny and they know who they are when they listen to this. They said, next time I'm going to make sure I just watch the whole thing and not just think I know how to do it, because you need to watch the whole thing. All right, so if you know, all the power to you if you don't, but if you watch the whole thing and follow exactly what I do, you'll get it right. You'll get it right. All right, so I'm covering my work here and I'm inserting a clip here because I forgot to tell you before we do the next part that you need to take your second color, color B, and you need to cut strips. You need to cut them about 8 inches long, and that's a length that works good for me. And I think you need about 12 for the first row, but you're going to use them again throughout the project. So cut a bunch of them. Like cut double that amount. And if you need more later, then you can get them. But you're going to need to cut your blue strips about 8 inches long. So go ahead and do that before we start the next section. So I'm going to take my blue, which is color B. I'm going to wrap it around needle 1. Okay, I'm going to hold this tail too so that I have some tension on here because these two have to finish knitting. So I'm going to turn my handle until that blue needle drops down. Okay, so that first needle dropped down with my blue yarn. I'm going to take that and put it outside of my work. That is my habit to do when I'm using Fair Isle, because otherwise, once we get a few rows done, you're going to have so many tails in here, you're going to risk tying off one of them, and you don't want to risk missing a tie. All right, so now I'm going to take my white And I'm going to put it on the second needle, the third, and the fourth. So 3 needles of white. I'm going to rotate till that one drops down. Now it's held in place and I can cut it. And I like to cut fairly long tails. Take that outside of my work. I'm going to do the full round before we go and tie off, all right? Then I'm going to take one blue, and these are about 7 or 8 inches long. That's what I find is a nice length. I'm going to take it, put it under the next one. So I did 1 blue, 3 white. 1 blue, let it sink down. Take my white. I didn't cut these ones. I'm just going to cut them as I go. And 3 white, let that sink down. Cut it off. You can cut a bunch of longer tails for your white too if you like. Have that come out. I'm going to take my next blue. I'm going to wrap it around that next needle till it sinks down. Then take my white. Get it under there and under the next and the next. So I'm doing 3 needles of white. And bring those out. Pull them so that the tension is nice and snug. Bring them out. Take the next one. And I like to have these on either side of the needles rather than in between, but it honestly doesn't matter because you're going to tie them and they'll naturally come out. But just creature of habit. So I'm going to go behind that next one. Let the needle drop down. Take my white and do 3. Okay, friends, do that all the way around. 1, 2, and 3. It's sunk down. You can cut it off. Take them over. Take another blue, wrap 1 needle, let it sink down. Take your white and do 3. When you think you only have 17 rows of patterning and not all of them are this detailed, it doesn't take that long. So don't give up. I want to see all of your beanies in my news feed in my Facebook group. All right, I'm going to do the next one. Let it drop down. And then I'm going to do 3 white. I'm going to do that all the way around. When I get close to the end, which I know I'll see coming because I had colored the black divider between my last and my first needle with a black permanent marker. So I always see when the end of my row is coming around. And when I get close, I will meet you back. So 1, 2, 3 white and 1 blue. Let it sink down. 3 white. Let it sink down. Cut it off. And 1 blue. All right, friends, have fun. I'll see you at the end of row 1 of your patterning. I am at the end of row 1 and I have 3 left. I'm going to make them white. If you're working on the 46 needle, you'll only have 1 left. 1 left. All right, I'm going to let that sink down. I'm going to cut it off. Then we're going to go around and we are going to tie our ends. All right, so I'm going to start on this end here. I'm going to take my first one here. The first one is the only tricky one. And I'm going to take this last one and I'm going to tie them together. Just like that. And like that. And I have my color change one here that I need to, no, that's not for my color change. My color change. Okay, anyways, that's down there. Where's my color change? Oh, I just tied it. So here is my next 2, the blue to the white. Go underneath the divider. And then I'm going to take something strange. Oh, because I'm missing 3. It's a little confusing at first. So don't turn your handle, just go around and take the end white one, tie it to the first blue one. Don't pull too tight or you'll pull that blue one right out of its socket. And you're going to tie. And then I'm going to take this next blue one, tie it to the next white one. And you're firming up your tension as you do this and drop it. Then my next white one to my next blue one. Again, because your blue ones are short, be careful that you don't pull it out. Tie it off and tie it again. And we'll cut these shorter in a bit. And if you got a bit of a loop there, that's okay because you'll pull it tight with this next one. And blue and white. And you're going to tie these all the way around. Then you know your next one is the other white one and the blue one. All right, go ahead and tie off all your ends and pull that, and I'll see you back when you have that done. So my hand is going to be out of the camera soon as I go around. All right, so having completed that, I then went ahead and trimmed all the ends off so that they were all the same length, about an inch, maybe an inch and a half long. All right, so you could tell probably even just from that first row that when you have your ends outside, it's easy to find them. It took me a bit in the beginning to get the swing of it, but once I did, because I had my mind set on something different, I was confused about that end. But once you find it, you just go and you tie them all off, and it works beautifully. Row 2 of our 17 row patterning is plain. So that means the whole row is done in color A. So row 2 and row 10 are the same. All right, so I'm going to take color A, which is white. I'm going to pop it into my yarn feeder. Make sure that if this is over a little bit that you're getting it under needle 1. And I'm going to knit 3 or 4 needles. Then I'm going to help this down. I'm going to take my ends, pull them away from each other just to make sure I have a nice snug tension there. And I'm going to knit the whole row with color A. Make sure that you watch that those loops are going down over the teeth because we did our ties and some of them might be a little tight, so you want to make sure that everything is catching without tucking a stitch. I'm watching for that black divider to come around because then I know my end of my row is coming. And there it is. All right, so there's my tail that needs to be eventually tied off. We finished row 2. All right, so again, mark that as row 2 and row 10. Row 3 is this one here. We're going to do the first 2 needles in white, the next one in color B. But then it changes. We're going to do 3 and 1, 3 and 1, 3 and 1, 3 and 1, all the way down our row. So only the first 2 at the beginning, because this one counts as the first one. The last needle of that last row counts as the first one. We're going to do 2 white, 1 blue. Okay, so I'm going to do 2 white, 1, 2, then I'm going to cut this. 2 white, just like that. Then I'm going to do 1 blue. Once that sinks down, I'm going to take these 3 out because I know I have to make sure I tie those. Then I'm going to do 3 white, 1 blue, 3 white, 1 blue, 3 white, 1 blue, all the way around. If you're using your 46 needle machine, you're going to end up with 3 white. If you're using your 48 needle machine, you're going to end up with just 1 white at the end. All right, so now we're going to do 3 white and 1 blue until I get to the end. So 3 of color A, 1 of color B, rotating that till I get to the end. So now I'm going to take my white. Oops, wrong end. 3 of color white, 1, 2, and 3. Wait till it drops down. Take that out, cut it off, and 1 blue. Wait till it sinks down. Put them on the outside. 3 white, 3 of color A. Cut it off. Bring them out. So it's essentially the same as the first row, just on different needles. And 1 blue. So 1, 2, 3, and 1 blue, 1, 2, 3, 1 blue, 1, 2, 3, 1 blue. And I'm going to continue that all the way around. I'll see you when you get to the end of row 2, or pardon me, of row 3. And remember that row 3 and row 11 are the same. So mark that on your graph. Row 3 and row 11 are the same. We started with 2 white, 2 of color A, then 1 of color B. And then we're going to finish the rest of the round 3 of color A, 1 of color B. 3 of color A, 1 of color B, all the way around. All right, so I have those all tied off. So you have probably figured out by now you're tying a white to a blue and a blue to a white to a blue, blue to a white, all the way around, etc. And once I have it all tied, I cut it off so it's nice and even and a little bit neater. And then another tip for you is to make sure you check mark which row you did, because trust me, it's easy to forget and it's hard to figure out. All right, so we have finished row 3. So again, to recap, row 1 and row 9 are the same. Row 2 and row 10 are the same. Row 3 and row 11 are the same, meaning row 4 and row 12 are the same. We're going to alternate white, blue, white, blue. So color A, color B, color A, color B. Color A goes on needle 1, color B on needle 2. We're going to do that all the way around. It works out the same on the 46 and the 48. So we're going to start with color A, which is my white. Let me just get them untangled here. Which is my white. I'm going to put that behind my first needle. Here's my first needle of my next row. And I'm going to turn till that sinks down. I'm going to take color B and I'm going to put it underneath needle 2. And I'm going to turn till that sinks down. Now they're both holding on. I'm going to take my tail of both of these out just like that. Okay, so needle 1 is white, needle 2 is blue, which is colors A, and then color B. And then I'm just going to hold them in my hands like that, both strands over my 3 fingers, my index finger between the 2, and then I'm going to rotate back and forth. I'm going to put color A under the next needle, color B, color A, color B, color A. I'm guiding it with my thumb, color A with my thumb, and color B, I'm grabbing it with my thumb here, and color A, just pulling it over, grabbing it with my index or my middle finger and my thumb to get to the next one, twisting my wrist a little bit, and that's how I rotate them all the way around. Nice change that we don't have all the tails. All right. This is row 4. Watching for my black divider to come around. I can see it out of the corner of my eye. I'm going to look what my next row is before I cut anything. All right, so here's my 2 tails that need to be tied. Let's just drop those. Let's tie these off so we don't forget. Very important that you pay attention to your tails because they can be overwhelming if you don't cut them off. And those are dropped in the end. The end one is my color B. I'm going to look at my chart. Row 5 starts with color B. All right, actually I have to cut them off because I can see I've got my rotation here. Color B, so let's just do that first so we don't get all confused. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to cut those off. I'm going to let both needles sink down. I'm going to take those out just like so. Now I'm going to mark off that I finished row 4. Row 5 is color B, 1 needle. Then color A, 3 needles. 1, 3, 1, 3, 1, 3. So I'm going to do blue on the first needle, white the next 3. Blue, white, blue, white. We've done this before, so it's not going to be a surprise to you. For the 46 needle machine, you're going to end on 1 white, and for my 48, I'm going to end on 3. Again, your patterning is going to be off at the back of the beanie for your 46 needle machine. It's not going to have a completed pattern, but I think it'll be okay. if somebody's making it on the 46, please post it in my group. I want to see what the back looks like because I'm not making one on the 46. I designed this pattern on the 48, but I want to give you that option. All right, so I'm going to start 1 needle blue, 3 needles white, 1 blue, 3 white, 1 blue, 3 white, all the way down, and row 5 and row 13 are the same. All right, row 5 and row 13 are the same. So I'm going to do 1 blue on the first needle, let it sink down. I'm going to do 3 white. And 1 blue. See what I mean? How you need a bunch of blue? I need to cut more. 1 blue, bring those out, 3 white. I'm going to do that all the way around. I'm going to then tie off and cut off. 3 white, bring them out, cut it off. All right, friends, go ahead, finish this row. 1 blue, and 3 white, making sure you don't change your color till that needle sinks down. 1 blue, and 3 white. Might be tricky to get underneath there. Lift that up. There we go. 1, 2, 3. All right, I'll see you when I'm done my row. I'll have it all tied off and cut off, and we'll move on to the next part. All right, so I have finished round 5 of the patterning, and we're going to move on to 6. I'm going to show you that on my chart here. Round 6, which is also round 14, is starting with color A and alternating with B. A, B, A, B, A, B. Easy row. We're going to, it's the same as row 4. So we are going to rotate color A and color B. So I'm going to take my 2 strands. I'm going to take color A, which is white, and put it behind the first needle just like that, and turn that just so it drops down and can hold it. Take that tail, put it out. I'm going to take color B, I'm going to put it under needle 2, and I'm going to turn it till it drops down to hold it, and I'm going to put that out. All right, so then we're going to take these in our hand like we did before, over our 3 fingers, and my index finger between, and I'm going to use my thumb to guide it. We're going to go white, blue, white, blue, white, blue, white, blue, all the way around. I love doing this row and the rows that are like it. This machine is definitely sticking, and it's, I think because the plastic is rubbing against the plastic, it just needs to have a good cleaning, a little bit of grease, and I can't wait to fix it. I literally can't, because I do love my centers. I really love the size of the 48 and the 40 and the 32. They all have a purpose, and I love them all. I don't just say that, I really do. I take good care of all of my machines, and so this one, it's time that it gets some tender loving care. There we go. I'm going to make sure those stay out. I'm going to drop those down. Remember that this is the first needle, because generally when we're doing regular knitting, it's lined up there, but I'm going to take these 2. Oops, I pulled that one a little too tight. Get that back over the teeth. And tie them off. Then I can let them fall. I need to see what the next row is before I do anything here. I'm going to mark off 6. That's done. Row 7, I'm going to do the first 2 with color A and the third one with color B, then 3 and 1, 3 and 1. So I'm going to do the first two with this white. 1 and 2. I can cut off this blue one. The first two with white. Let's not over those pink teeth. It's gonna split, so let me just fix that. There we go. First two with white. Then I'm gonna cut this, take it out, and I'm gonna tie this one off right away to one of the ones that are closer. This blue one's too far to tie it off on, so I'm just gonna grab another one that's close, and we're going to just finish those off so that we're not confused by them later. Cut them off. I've done these first two in white. I'm going to do the next one in blue, and then I'm going to start my patterning 3 and 1, 3 and 1, 3 and 1, all the way to the end. And when you're on your 46 needle machine, you're going to end up with the last 3 will be white, will be color A. And on the 48 needle machine, you'll have one left that is color A. All right, so I'm going to now start. I did the first two in color A. I'm going to do the third one in color B. Pull those out. I'm going to do the next 3 in color A. So you see that a lot of these rows are the same. They just switch needles. And the next one in blue. And then the next 3 in color A. And the next one in color B. And I'm going to repeat that all the way around. I'm going to tie them all off, and I'm going to knot them. Well, tying them off is knotting them. I meant to say I'm going to cut them. I'm going to tie them all off, and then I'm going to cut them so that they're even. And one blue. And you can see how beneficial it is now at this point. You realize how beneficial it is to have your ends over the edge like this. Makes it so easy to find, so easy to tie. And you're tying a white to a blue all the time. And that just fixes your tension and will make it beautiful when you have your beanie off the machine. All right, friends, keep going with this row. I'll see you when you're done. All right, there you go, friends. We have finished round 7. Now, just so you know, round 7 and round 15 are going to be the same. So here's round 7. For me, I finished with 1 white. For you, you finished with 3 whites if you're on your 46 needle. Now, always check the next row before you cut your strands, okay? Before you cut your last strand, because if I go to row 8, it's all color A. So I'm not going to cut my white. I'm going to just do all of row 8 with color A. Now row 8 and row 16 are the same. So let's continue with our white. So I finished my white here. I went underneath this divider and I got it under that nook of that needle. And I'm going to do 1 full row of white. This is round 8. There's my black divider. There we go. So I finished row 8. I am going to check that off. Now what you're going to do is you're going to repeat all of these from row 1 to row 8. You're going to repeat them. So row 9, like I told you before, was the same as row 1. Row 10 is the same as row 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And you're going to continue that. And when you have all 8 rows done, again, going from row 1 to 8, then come back and see me and we'll do the last row together. All right, well, the last patterning row together. All right, so repeat rows 1 to 8. Have fun, enjoy the process. I'll see you back when you're done.
All right, so I finished row 16, and it wouldn't be a video if it didn't have a glitch. I started row 17 with you and realized that it didn't video. I thought I hit the button, but I guess I hit it twice by accident. So now we're going to do row 17. You can still see it here. Row 17, down here, you're gonna do 1 color B and then 3 color A. 1 blue, 3 white, 1 blue, 3 white, 1 color B, 3 color A, all the way down. And if you're using your Addi, you will end with 1 color A. If you're using your 48 like I am, you will end with your 3 color A. So I'm going to start 1 blue, 3 white, 1 blue, 3 white, 1 blue, 3 white, all the way around, which I have started already. 1 blue is there. I started here, blue, 3 white, blue, 3 white, and I'm going to do that all the way around. I'm going to finish row 17, and then we will come back and we will use our white yarn to finish off our beanie. I'll meet you when I get this row done. Last row, friends, you're on the tail end. You got it. All right, so we have finished our patterning. How exciting is that? So remember, we had 50 rows at the beginning on the inside of our beanie. Now we need 50 rows on the outside. We've done 15 for rib, then we did 9 plain, so that's 24. We did 17 for patterning, so 24 and 17 is 41. So we need 9 more for plain. So I'm going to pop my white in there. I didn't cut it, and I'm going to set my counter to 0. I'm going to do 9 rows. I'm going to go slowly on this first round, like always, because it's picking up both colors from all my ties. Just giving that a little helping hand. Not that it needs it. And I'm going to knit 8 more rows, 9 in total. I'll see you when I get finished. I have my 9 rows finished. I'm going to go ahead and take my yarn tail out of the machine. I'm going to cut off a long tail that's long enough to go around my barrel 1.5 to 2 times. Just like that. I'm going to hang on to this so that I have some tension on it while I knit those 2. And I'm going to do 1 complete turn, almost complete turn. Just like this. Here's where my start is. I have to stop before that needle. Here's this needle popping up. I have to stop here before the needle pops up and pops off that loop, because all these are ready to come off now. And I'm going to go ahead and thread my needle, and we're going to do the drawstring cast off. I do it 2 ways. This is one way, and there's other way where I take it off on this side. If you watch my videos, you'll see. You have to be very careful with this technique because all these are loose and ready to come off. And if you lift up too high on the one you're taking off, then you will pull off the loop off the next stitch. So we got to go 1 at a time until we get the first 2 done. Then we can do 2 at a time here just to get some slack. And then I can take a few more. Then you can hold your finger over that next one as you pull this through, and you won't risk dropping it off the teeth. And I'm going to go around, and I'm going to just remove all my stitches. Again, putting my finger over that next one so that it doesn't fall off. I can now rotate my barrel so it's closer to me, and I continue the process, removing all the stitches. And it won't look like much until you stretch out your beanie. I'll show you this before the stretch and the after stretch. Doesn't matter what size of project you're making, whether it's a big project or a very tiny project, you always have to stretch your work. It just lines up your stitches vertically and horizontally and will make your project just have a better finish to it. All right, so I'm going to continue removing all of these stitches. Almost done. Making sure when you rotate your barrel that you don't go so far that the needle pops up and removes the loop before you get a chance to pick it off with your needle. And there we go. Almost done. Did I miss this one? Oh, oops, I'm gonna lose that one. Let me get in there. There we go. Almost lost it, but that's okay. There we go. There's our beanie. That's what it looks like before we stretch it. Oh, it's gonna be so beautiful. I'm gonna remove my machine. I'll be right back with you. All right, so I have it off the machine and I already started stretching it. It's just a habit as soon as I take it off, but you can see what yours looks like before it's stretched. But it makes a huge difference. Like, this patterning is absolutely gorgeous. Just loving it. And I went ahead, just for sake of keeping the video a little bit shorter. I didn't do it online, but I went ahead and I trimmed this. I held it over the garbage and I trimmed it. So all these little ends were a little bit shorter. It makes quite a bit of a difference actually. And it's gonna add warmth to our beanie, so it's nice to have it there, but I did trim them and make them a little bit shorter. You can do that as you go along when you're making your project, but I left them a little longer, so I just trimmed them up. And we're gonna finish this. I'm gonna finish this in the morning. For you, it'll be a couple seconds to the next clip, but I'm losing my daylight through the windows here. And so it's time to call it a night. My hubby and I are gonna go for a bike ride and wind down for the evening. But it's gonna be beautiful when it's done. Can't wait to be back with you in the morning and finish this off. All right, friends. See you in a few seconds on the camera, but tomorrow morning in real life. Well, good morning, friends. Morning for me. It might be evening for some of you. But what we did is we took our beanie and we're going to put it in half. Just like this. Put the one end inside the other end. And straighten it out. Then we're going to find the end of the inside one and we're going to cinch it closed, making sure that you smooth out the top as you do so. You don't want a harsh looking top of your beanie. You want it to be as smooth as possible, and to do that you have to smooth out the edge around that strand that's being pulled. Takes a little bit of time, but the more time you take, the nicer it looks. If you just pull it as far as you can pull it, and not straighten it out, you're gonna have a messier looking project. So, and more bulk at the top. But be careful because medium 4-weight yarn can snap quite easily when you pull on it. And I'm gonna go around that top row of stitches the best that I can. Pull through, give it a little bit of reinforcement. And it helps to close it up too. So all the way around. And pull a little bit further. This is a brand new needle, first time I'm using it. It's not very sharp, which is strange because these are my absolute favorite needles. I get them at Walmart, but you can get them on Amazon too. They're metal wool needles. They actually are very sharp, and you notice that I use them all the time. They're my favorite needles, so it's probably just the yarn here. And I'm going to make a knot. I'll link them in the description box below because you can get them on Amazon. And we will then pull the front one, the top one, making sure that this inside strand is out, and you're going to do the same exact thing to this top one. You're going to pull it and you're going to reinforce the top. I'm going to cut this off to make it a little bit easier to work with. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to reinforce around the top, and I'll meet you right back. Once that's done, I'm going to take these two. I'm going to bring the inside one. I'm going to pull it up as close to the top as I can, and I'm going to tie a firm knot. Again, be careful you don't snap it. Your strength is more than you think it is. I'm going to do 3 knots. Cut this off. Hide my ends between the 2 layers. And out it comes. Cut it off. Friends, what a beautiful beanie. What a beautiful, beautiful beanie. I'm going to just measure it real quick for you before I go ahead and add the pom-pom. I've got 2 different pom-pom choices for you. Where, oh where is my measuring tape? If you were a measuring tape, where would you be in your mess on your table? Underneath everything. It just fell on the floor beside the table. I'm going to smooth this out on the inside, and then I'm going to measure this for you so you can see the length. 9.5 inches exactly. This is the perfect length beanie. Perfect. Very, very excited about that. Now I'm going to grab a 5mm crochet hook. We're going to put it up through the inside, center. Might have to look for it. And out the top center, just like that. And I'm going to use this beautiful big pom-pom that I just bought at Michael's with a 40% off coupon. I bought a black one too. And I'm going to pull it through. And I'm going to use a pom-pom holder that I just made. And I'm going to have a video on these. I do have a video on how to make homemade pom-poms on my holders on my channel already. But this is a new one that I am making. And I'm going to show you how to do that. You can just pop it in there, wrap that around once, and that holds your pom-pom just like that. And again, I'll have a video on how to make those. Very, very simple. And there we go. We have a beautiful, beautiful beanie. Now, if you chose to use a different color pom-pom, you wanted to use your blue one, let's just take that off. Pull it off. Let's get our crochet hook back in there. And again, if you don't have a crochet hook, you can attach it to a needle, a darning needle, and pull it through. I made a blue pom-pom. Now I want this to be removable, so I'm going to just put this holder on there. And we're going to just tie it. Once you get the first knot on, it's easy. Just like that. You're going to tie it, and you're going to tie it. Just like that. You can cut these off a little bit shorter. And then you've got, that looks beautiful. That pom-pom was made with my Clover Pom Pom Maker. This is, I have a set of 4, and this is the biggest one in the set of 4. It has a number, I don't know what number it is, 65 or 85 on the back, but it is the blue one. It's the biggest one. And you can make a pom-pom following my Clover Pom Pom maker video, and that's what it looks like with a blue pom-pom. It's absolutely beautiful. Loving it. Okay, so friends, I hope you have enjoyed this tutorial. I can't wait to see your color choices that you've made. I'm going to put this one back on, see how easy it is to do. Pop that in there, and once you get it through once, then it loosens the hole just a little bit so that you can find it a little bit easier. Sorry, I keep going off the camera there. I'm going to pull that one through. These loops and threads pom-poms have a little bit of a longer elastic. I can wrap that one more time if I want to, but there you go. And it's nice and warm because of all the little ends that are in between the 2 layers, and there you go.
We have completed our beanie. And friends, it wasn't that hard, was it? If this is your first time doing Fair Isle or doing 2x2 ribbing, I congratulate you. You've done it, and now you've learned some new skills, so thank you for persevering. Thank you for being a part of my community. I really love having you as a part of my Koala Knits and Knacks family, and I appreciate you watching this video and making the things that I post for you. Now, I also do have a PayPal link and a Buy Me a Coffee link if you want to support me in that way. It does really make a difference, and I thank you so much for your support. Friends, don't forget to hit the link down in the description box below that will take you to my Facebook group. I hope you come over and join if you're not a part of that group already. I'd love to see your completed beanies. All right, so for now, take care, have a blessed day, and I'll see you in the next tutorial.